Happy New Year, everyone. I've gone into session for each of the 12 sun signs and each of the 12 ascendant signs. There are 12 videos posted for the 2018 Evolutionary Growth Narrative. What is the main theme for your growth and evolution over the coming year? It's going to be different for your sun than your ascendant because they represent different aspects of the soul's growth journey. In each video, it's themed by sign. So, in the Aries video, you're going to have 2 readings in that video. One for the sun, the second for the ascendant. It will be the same for Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, etc. I am sending you each much love as we enter this very dynamic, very growth-oriented and maturation-oriented year of 2018. More to come. Her hand gentles the war. Perhaps you keep the extent of your inner struggle hidden from your loved ones, from the world, even perhaps from your own acknowledgement at times. You may do this because you believe it is how you can be strong, or perhaps you feel ashamed of your vulnerabilities. Yet your innermost battles are visible to me in their entirety. Every moment of your suffering is felt in my own heart, no matter how much of a brave face you attempt to summon. Know that I never judge you. I simply love you and honor your fighting spirit. Yet I ask you to allow me to help you, for there are times when battle builds strength, but also times when it is no longer serving constructive purpose, and war needs to end. For you, the battle has served its purpose, and if it were to continue, you would be worn down needlessly. It can be easy to become so engaged in the struggle that you don't realize that there is a way beyond it. I do, and I am moved to offer you my merciful and compassionate intervention. Even the most powerful struggle can be diffused with the gentlest of my touches, for in gentleness there is nothing to resist. No contribution of increased force to an already violent fray. Whether the war is in the heart, the mind, the body, or the world, call for my hand, and I shall bring relief. For those who honor love, conflict can be difficult to bear. Whilst tension can be an important part of growth, there are times when it can become unnecessarily destructive, causing fatigue and killing off our sense of love, serenity, and trust. Challenge that is ultimately constructive in that it can be resolved, bringing about greater maturity for all involved, is a spiritual gift from the Divine Mother. However, when conflict has degenerated into something that robs the soul of its dignity, light, and right to life, the Divine Mother will offer rescue through her intervention. We could perhaps continue on, choosing to eschew her assistance as though it is more noble and empowered this way, but divine assistance would never deny us our opportunities for growth. It does not disempower us in any way. Rather, it seeks to nurture our spiritual empowerment by moderating the degree of challenge before us, strong enough to stimulate growth, but soft enough to not completely overcome the soul. The Divine Mother's compassion seeks to protect us from suffering that is not in some way ultimately helpful to the growth and well-being of the soul. Such darkness may be a war between nations or cultures that is based in fear, yet prevails through time. This war might have been passed on through generations and honored by many human beings as though it were made from nobler substance. Or the darkness evoking the Divine Mother's intervention may be mental anguish brought on by unresolved grief, handed down energetically through ancestral lines. It may be the painful clash of an old way of being against a new way that seeks to establish itself in you or in the world. Perhaps the great war of which the Divine Mother speaks is so subtle that you don't even realize you are at war within yourself. Such a violent battle might have been taking place in your being for quite some time. It may be a burden you are unable to shake off because you fear you shall neglect your duty and be overcome by guilt or shame. Perhaps the part of you that is afraid of trying to control the part of you that wants to be free. The internal conflict becomes so great that you feel inwardly paralyzed, locked in procrastination, uncertainty, or even depression. Or perhaps you have been waging a war against your body and its perceived imperfections. You may be trying to defeat a personality trait you have come to believe is unacceptable and are fighting against your true nature from a place of self-criticism. Perhaps the war has been a seemingly constant driving battle to overcome the life you have had, to replace it with the life you so desperately want. Your war may be obvious, a legal battle or family dispute, or subtle and more internal, but either way, it is significant enough to have gained the Divine Mother's intervention. Although you may not consciously recognize a war being waged within, you will still feel its effect over time. It could be bone-deep weariness. You may experience difficulty in genuinely sustaining hope because you are so tired, feeling defeated rather than optimistic, due to investing so much effort over so long a time. This could therefore leave you feeling unable to assert yourself in the type of life, relationship, or sense of self you yearn to experience. Perhaps at an even deeper level, there is a conflict between your desire to live with trust, freedom, and peace, and the fear that you must fight to survive. You may feel exhausted, yet driven to continue on. You may feel hatred for yourself or toward another individual or group of people. You may fight against feeling hopelessness, and yet you can only do that with rage and frustration, which, although unpleasant, is the only way you believe you can feel a sense of power. Oh, beloved, how you have struggled and suffered, sometimes without any acknowledgement even from yourself. Perhaps you may feel deeply disturbed at the state of disorder in the world. You may feel heartbroken by ignorance and disrespect of the natural world, of the sad plight and suffering of creatures. There is much war in the world and within the human heart. So much so, there can be a particular kind of fatigue for those who truly care but cannot see a way through. Hope flickers and fades with one exertion after another, apparently coming to naught, and numbness, despair, bleakness, depression, lack of inspiration, and quest for escape into the meaningless can take root as a way to cope. Maybe things have not yet degenerated this far for you, and you are guided to accept the Divine Mother's help so that they need not do so in the future. You are a brave warrior of love, and this oracle comes to you with promise of restoration, of peace, of liberation, and of resolution of the wars that have plagued your soul. It is not a direction to give up on what you want, but to allow it to come to you, through you, in a far gentler and more constructive way. So listen now to the voice of the Divine Mother and feel the soft touch of her hand at your shoulder, bringing you comfort and relief. She urges you to hear her wisdom. This is not a time to fight fire with fire, which can unnecessarily add fuel to the issue at hand, inflaming drama and causing it to live longer than it needs to be. Instead, the Divine Mother asks that you allow her to take you into the cool sanctuary of her inner light. There is softness there, and so much strength. She has enough strength to feel the pain of the world and not become locked in bitterness, anger, or despair. Kuan Yin dwells in an eternal wellspring of compassion that flows as sweet nectar from her heart, from her eyes, from her palms of her hands. Let her sweet tears fall upon your head, her heart hold you in tender embrace, and her hands rest soothingly upon your shoulders now, bringing you comfort and lifting even the most persistent anguish and destructive long-standing fight from your being. Great force can be disabled with even greater gentleness, and a seemingly overwhelming distress can be released in a single unforced moment where the heart chooses to turn to the Divine Mother, to rest in her grace and light. Peace is found, hope is restored, and the conflict melts away. This is not escape from the world. This is not turning away from life. It is the realization of choice and the empowerment of peace. You can only fight for peace when you no longer choose to fight, but instead choose to allow it. This leads to action, to strength, to renewed energy rather than apathy, quitting or being overwhelmed. This brings energy and joy rather than fear and fatigue. Do not despair, wild beloved. You have so much capacity for peace. You have the mental strength to let go of a conflict, to stop trying to shame yourself or another out of fear. You have the courage to respect life and the right each being has to choose their own way to be in the world. This is not about allowing disrespect. It is about setting boundaries within that bring you peace, so that you realize the actions of others are not about you, but their own inner state of being. This frees you to choose what you wish to invite into your world and into your heart, where you dwell in the love of the Divine Mother's peaceful sanctuary. You can be as you wish to be and carry the power of that inspiration into the world through a lighter touch and gentler yet more effective approach than ever before. This oracle brings special guidance to you. Whatever has been troubling you is about to be resolved, even if it has been for a long time or has been dramatic and frightening. Don't be afraid to drop it, to disengage, to step back, and allow for higher forces to show you the best way to handle things. Sometimes the best way is simply to stop adding thought, energy, and action into the fray, and to let it unravel and lose steam of its own volition. There is no force more powerful than love, and the Wild Mother's touch is about to bring blessing to whatever war has been raging in your body, mind, and heart. There is no shame in the surrender. It is intelligent wisdom to rise above, not sink into what is threatening to destroy you from the inside out. Let her help you. Be willing to let go and claim peace for yourself, trusting in the resolution her genius makes possible. It can be hard to let go of such tension, particularly if it has been with you for a long time. But you can do it if you give yourself permission. Pray to the east, guardian watches over the west. I simultaneously see the ending and the beginning soon to come, even when you do not, my beloved divine wild child. I watch and defend from past interference whilst I invite new worlds to form through my prayers, birthing them through my heart and the silent, unwavering light in my mind. Soon you shall be ready to make the crossing, to acknowledge the ending of this day and the dawn of the new day that I have begun to create for you. Do not be afraid of any ending now. All has been divinely ordained, and all things happen so that my love can prevail. Endings allow for fresh starts. Focus on letting go now and being firm in your decision. Have courage. Trust yourself. You can love even more in the letting go than you did in holding on. Be patient and accept where you are now in the process of endings. All will happen soon enough. I am helping you in all ways. Trust me and the new day I bring forth. This is a pivotal and significant moment in your life journey. You are leaving or have already left something or someone behind. This is what has to be so that you can continue to turn your face to the promise of the new, although that has yet to be fully dawn. Soon you will be able to turn your full attention to the burgeoning dawn, but at this time your attention needs to be on completely with what needs to be released now. You need to feel trust in yourself and what is happening, to have courage, and to hold love within your heart even through this process. There is a part of your inner and wise, ancient and intuitive self that understands a new dawn will emerge from the darkest light, and that it is only a matter of time. You are encouraged to pray for that new beginning whilst also remaining aware of the disintegration of past patterns or connections or circumstances so that you give yourself the appropriate opportunity to become as free from the past as possible. You do not have to feel ashamed, regretful, or fearful of any aspect of your past. But the oracle brings you guidance that there is some aspect of it that you may try to become part of your future. This is not meant to be. And so whilst the sun is setting on the past phase of your life, until it is completely over, you will need to remain aware. Gently but firmly arrest any tendencies to go back or invite past behaviors or connections into your current life situation that you know in your heart are over. Set a boundary without fear and with firm, loving awareness. Be compassionate, but also be strong and brave. The Divine Mother is watching over you and will assist you in this process. But you also need to be aware and trust yourself. The day is ending and there will be a new dawn for you. The Holy Ones are already praying for you, and you will be held safe through the darkness of night between this day and the next. The Holy Ones invite you to join them through the healing process so the new day can reach you, bringing hope and a new life, as the new chapter and all its previous influence cease to have power over you. The oracle of Pray to the East, Guardian watches over the West, comes to you at the most precious points of transition. It is where you may feel vulnerable, not yet fully out of the old life that is setting like the sun, and neither yet fully into the new life that is going to rise like the dawn in due course. It is an in-between time, heading from the setting sun into the night. There is hope for the future, but you may not feel it strongly yet. At this moment, you are best to keep only your spiritual awareness on the new life to come. Soon enough, mind and body will join your spirit there, and you will feel absolutely free from the past and immersed utterly in your new life cycle. For now, however, the guidance is to keep focused on dealing with what is coming to a close. It may mean doing some inner work to process the residual emotions, or perhaps you are still at the stage of letting go and moving on physically. Maybe you have taken those steps already, but need to let your mind and heart catch up with what has happened, letting shock recede and the reality of change settle into your awareness. This oracle brings you comfort if you have been in a situation of enduring struggle or darkness. It heralds the ending of that time. It is not quite upon you, but the signs of it ending are there, as is the hope for a new day that will soon follow. If you have been feeling an urging to move on from a person, place, or situation, perhaps where the appearance is that all is continuing per usual, but underneath feels as though it may be over, or perhaps should be released because it no longer belongs in your life, then this oracle confirms your intuition. You are seeing the writing on the wall, so to speak. Whether that is something you have had to endure or something that you have loved is not relevant here. Sometimes even good things need to come to an end. Even a most beautiful garden will wither and die eventually. It is so that new life can happen again and again. The Divine Mother seeks not perfection, but progress, process. Whatever you choose to release, when the time feels right, it will give way for something new to begin. If you have been trying to walk away, to let go, to release, and somehow seem to keep sabotaging your own progress or undermining yourself, despite your best intentions, or somehow keep unintentionally reconnecting with that which you are seeking to leave behind, then take comfort. The Divine Mother is helping you, watching out for you, and if asked, she will intervene on your behalf, bringing her endless power to your cause. When your desire for divine help is based in love and a willingness to grow, there will be no end to the grace that is given to assist you. This oracle brings you particular comfort Even if it seems like past patterns or a situation you are trying to extricate yourself from will never end, do not be afraid. The signs of ending are already taking place. You just may not realize it yet. Have you ever been so engrossed or so distracted that you haven't realized how late in the day it has become? One moment it seems to be the afternoon, and all of a sudden you look up and the night has fallen. The day is over and you hadn't even realized it was happening. So it can be with matters such as this. The signs of ending are there for those who can be present, but sometimes we are so caught up in what is happening we find it difficult to have broad awareness of bigger patterns. So the oracle informs you, the end is near.